start with township solicitor, Ms. Camp.
Thank you. At the last meeting, my colleague from Denne was here, and she, I guess it didn't get into your packet, but there was a memorandum to advise you that there had been a new ruling issued by the Federal Communications Commission, specifically dealing with small wireless facilities. And we're required to make your zoning ordinance comply with the federal regulations relating to these types of facilities. She had presented a draft amendment for consideration. It obviously needs to be vetted by your planning commission and also needs to go to the county planning commission. I did not have an opportunity to review this carefully with Kristen and Red Staff House, and we have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday morning. So we're going to do that. If in the interim anybody has any questions or comments on this, please let me know. But we'll, after we speak with staff and make sure they're comfortable with everything, we'll do that to you. And it's not something that we really don't have any discretion about. We do need to make sure that our ordinances comply with the federal law with respect to these facilities. So we'll be back in touch on that. The second matter is a request that came in. The board granted conditional use approval on February 11th, 2016 to a property at 20 Whistle Drive. This property is located in C1 district. It's also the Lincoln Highway Overlay District. And the approval was for a child daycare. The property is currently used for an adult daycare, and at the time of the conditional use hearing, the owner had a lease still in effect with the adult daycare. And so at the conditional use hearing, they asked that the board would allow the decision and the use, the conditional use approval to be valid for, they had asked for 5 years. I think the board was uncomfortable with that length of time. And so when you issued the decision, you agreed that the decision could be valid for 3 years. That 3 years has now expired. That was expired February 11th, 2019. So they have requested, they're actually now, the adult daycare use lease has terminated, and the property owner is anxious to move forward with child daycare, consistent with your conditional use decision. So they've asked for they asked for a 1-year extension, and Ray indicated to me that they are filing building permits and starting to do the work to convert it from the adult daycare to the child daycare. But I guess in an abundance of caution, they wanted to make sure the decision would take them some time to do the retrofit. They would like you to extend the decision to a period of 1 year, which would take it to February 10th, 2020. So that's the request.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the conditional use extension for the Whistle Drive adult daycare for a period not to exceed February 10th, 2020.
The approval, it was being used in adult daycare, and child daycare. And the reason why, when they came before you to get conditional approval, they wanted, because your ordinance requires you to basically, the decision expires within 1 year. So at the time of hearing, they asked you to agree to extend it because they wanted the adult daycare lease to expire.
What's your motion say? Adult daycare or
child daycare? Yeah. Sorry, child daycare. So basically just to allow the conditional use approval that was granted on February 11th, 2016 to be valid and effective up until February 10th, 2020.
I'll entertain a motion to allow extension of the Whistle Drive child daycare conditional use approval that was approved on February 11th, 2016, to be extended to February 10th, 2020. Motion made by Commissioner Chambers, seconded by Commissioner Tindale. Any comments or questions on this one? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0.
Okay, and the next thing is also a follow-up from the last meeting. As you know, we have been negotiating with 2 property owners who own property along Fisherville Road. There's a culvert that needs to be replaced, and in order to install a new culvert, the township contractor needs to be able to get on these 2 private properties. Mr. Smith did sign the easement agreement and sent it to Ray last Friday, so I have the easement agreement for you to accept and approve and authorize the president to sign.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the easement agreement for the Smith property regarding the Fisherville Road Bridge project.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Young, seconded by Commissioner Chambers. Any comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
I know, Denise, you have the original, I believe. Okay, I'll give you 3 copies, you can have those signed as well.
Okay, and then, we have a presentation this evening, for the facility resource zone board.
I'm sorry, my client. Good evening. I'm here this evening representing 2131 Lincoln Highway, LLC. I have some handouts for the board. They are the owner of the property located at that same number, 2131 here in the township. The property comprises 15 acres and is located at Business Route 30 just to the east of North Caln Road. Thank you. With me this evening, representatives of the property owner, Mr. Christianello and Tom McMahon, and we also have Amanda Schneider from DL Allen Associates with us. The property is located in the C1 zoning district of the township. My client proposes to develop the property for a 3-floor climate-controlled self-storage facility. And when I say self-storage, I think you may immediately think of pictures of some self-storage facilities you currently have here in the township. This is not those facilities. This is a fully enclosed, climate-controlled, monitored by 24-hour state-of-the-art security system. These multi-story interior access only facilities offer small and large storage facilities available for both personal and business use. We have an artist's rendering of what type of facility my client is contemplating. On the easel here, unfortunately it's not in your packets. You do see the name Parkside Storage, but again, this is used for illustration. I think most locally you may know the name CubeSmart as well. There's one located in Malvern, right on Business Route 30, near the intersection of 29 and 30. The facility is usually accessed by a covered ingress-egress point in the front. Everyone enters and exits through that point. As I stated earlier, it's a 24-hour security throughout is offered. Hours of operation usually range from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, perhaps Sunday. As I stated earlier, the property is currently zoned C1 district, which is not currently permitted use. So in order to implement the use on this property, the township would have to consider either amending the text for the C1 district to permit the use by right or conditional use, or consider rezoning the property to I1 or I2, which does currently permit self-storage use. In the packets that I handed out this evening, you'll see a zoning map at the very end. And if the township were to prefer the rezoning to I1 or I2, you will see that extending that I1 district would not be a stretch at all, because contiguous property to the north exists currently zoned I1. So we're here this evening to present this to you, make you aware of it, and answer any questions the board may have. Obviously, to proceed forward, the township would have to have some inclination to entertain this concept. And again, I don't think this is something foreign. This is not your typical self-storage unit that I think all of us are used to thinking of. This resembles more of an office building. And as I said, all these units are offered from the interior of the structure and are fully climate controlled in 24 hours. We'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Sure, just out of curiosity, a lot of that is floodplain down there. Have your client started any preliminary, investigation as to how much of the property is usable for this actual?
That's a very fair question, and Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong. There you go. put that on easel, it will fit. And then you can see that from over here, but we kind of outlined the floodplain, and we are outside of that area.
I would not, maybe out of one, everything is what and I want, it's not going to do it, it's going to fall apart. So, eventually it'll fall apart. I don't want to see that.
Would you feel you'd be the same with respect to I2 as well?
Well, we have to look at, the thing we don't want to do is that piece of property don't make it a house on the use.
There's also no I-2 anywhere around there.
Right.
So there'd be a sea of I-2 with nothing else.
There's
So
not, but I believe it's down.
it sort of breaks the continuity of what you have for your C1. So I'm glad you said that. Because I was going to say the same thing.
Understood.
Did you look at the definition for mini warehouse? Because it almost, you think you need that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I was remiss, there is a section of your ordinance that also pertains to self-storage. And we have looked at that, and we could comply with all those requirements we currently have in place for self-storage. Under your design criteria.
And in where we allow self-storage, is it by right use or is it a conditional use?
You permit self-storage by conditional use in I1, you permit it by right in I2. Mr. Young, if the sentiment was shared by the other members of the board, the other option would be to consider amending C1 to permit self-storage. And again, in doing that, you can impose requirements on that self-storage use, such as minimum acres, what have you, to try and limit it, if that is concerned.
The percentage of folks on the south and from townhomes, apartments, different types of retail, you can see the 6 acres. It really could be something that jumpstarts that.
It very well may, and if you're familiar with the uses that surround this property, I challenge you to say that something like that would not be aesthetically pleasing to that part of the township.
Does anybody have any questions there? Or any comments about the prospect of amending C1 for, I'd be willing to consider amending C1.
Just to clear that, yeah. It is very aesthetically, as you said. It looks a lot better than, yeah, we got a lot of things.
Sure. And typically what I ask is if, with the board's permission, we would continue to work with staff to perhaps propose something in the form of an amendment to the C1. And if staff could somehow obtain input from the board, question as to what you may like to see or not see in that amendment, we'd be happy to try and incorporate it and maybe come back before you at the next meeting as well.
Yeah, and typically the board, if you do that, any consultant time should be reimbursed by the applicant.
Not a problem.
Something that's okay.
Great, thank you for your time.
John, did you leave these with everybody on the board? Okay. Kristen, have one?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
That's it.
Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Camp?
I have nothing else. I didn't know.
Okay, Council Engineer, Mr. Colton.
The planning commission will be meeting next week. The agenda has 2 items for discussion. The first, which is Taco Bell. we did submit the final plan, so we'll discuss it next week. The second will be the component 4A, municipal planning form for the planning module for the village of Milton. The two things that are on the agenda.
You actually, that's what you're talking about?
I believe they worked out an agreement with the municipal card that I don't think that at this point that they has to that.
George, do you know from the CPMA perspective?
And I think their issue is still, they were talking, I don't think it's still exciting. Anything below 40 views, the director there has the right to approve, you can involve findings, so the board, the Garrett board, you have to approve each of those.
As of the last review letter, which I have here from Gilmore Associates, which is dated February 5th of this year, it still indicates that the sewer capacity must be purchased.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I don't know where they are, and I actually recall, I'm to their council today to just get a handle on where things stand. I know you had mentioned they were still working issues with Canada.
Yeah.
So obviously that, they have to work through that. But as far as the CTMA, you could get final plan approval, that would be a condition. They won't be able to do anything unless they ultimately reach an agreement with CTMA. So.
Yeah, the additional approval will be conditioned upon the outstanding items, and then before we come back to finish your plan, and close all the conditions.
Any questions for Mr. Polkowski?
Just to give you a road program as well, I will be presenting the cost estimate to your staff next week. We surveyed 8. We surveyed 8 roads. I will present all individual cost estimates to unless I have.
County Manager, Ms. Denne.
Just a couple things for here. I've been working with the other managers in Chesapeake County, to cooperatively go in. Our Verizon franchise agreement expires in 2021. So I am going to be working with the board's authorization to work with the other managers who want to go in on multi-municipal franchise agreement. We're working with Caln Group of Pittsburgh. They're kind of the only ones in Pennsylvania that do that kind of work. But we work for us because we have 19 communities that are participating. We got a discount rate of $5,950 per community, plus expenses. But again, those expenses will be split between the 19 communities. So if I get authorization from the board to engage with Caln Group for an amount no more than $7,500.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the county manager to engage with the Caln Group for a Verizon franchise agreement not to exceed $7,500. Second. Motion made by Commissioner Young, seconded by Commissioner Quintero. Any comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the floor? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0.
In your packets is a copy of the bid for our property maintenance for the 2019-2020 season bid award. They did increase the bid by approximately, roughly $3,500 over last year. We only received one bid, as you know, it's very difficult for us to get bidders because they have to have a low season bid. Mr. Fraggle and I talked about it at length. We're going to try some different avenues next year, and also even the state of co-stars is starting to advertise these types of agreements. Again, our problem is the licensing re-impact, but still competitive. I'm sure glad they are not taking advantage of the situation being in here. But the total bid amount was for $48,440. $440. The year before it was $44,886. The only thing we added as an alternate, in case we did get very backed up, is if by chance, public works was in a situation where we weren't able to get out to the sidewalks and get Carlson, We have an alternate on here, to do the sidewalks in here. That is only in the event of an extreme situation where it's 2 or 3 days that we're not able to provide any trucks and all of it. We had quite a few residents complaining last year when we had, 3 pretty heavy days of snow. Obviously, the roads are first priority. But we have a lot of residents that complain. That's what we walk the dog through that.
Okay, entertain a motion to award the property maintenance 2019 to 2020 season to HHS Lawn Care in the amount of $48,412.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Chambers, seconded by Commissioner Tindera. Any comments or questions from the board? Okay, any comments or questions from the floor? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0. Anything else, Ms. Denne?
Just one thing, and I'm sure most of the public really want to know, update on the Lloyd House area. We did have a meeting with representatives from Williams' office and also Senator Caln. Some good discussion about property and also the preservation of the home. Developer who's reasonably would like to talk about trying to save the home. I put him in touch with a preservation specialist that is going to analyze the home with him. I'm not making any promises, I don't want that misread, but at least there is dialogue being had. The reason and what came out, one of the things that came out yesterday, after a lot of discussion at length with the developer, the reason that he filed for a demo permit and put the fence up is because so many people were breaking into the home. He was worried that somebody was going to get hurt, and that is why he started taking the actions he did. So, please, if you know people that are going into that house illegally, please tell them to stop. There is asbestos in that house. The house is not safe. So, I think a lot of hard will has been put out there. I think a lot of bad information has been put out there. But, he is willing to discuss this. But you have to understand, and you have to come to a realization, and I'm trying to say this very gently. I understand this is very close to people's hearts, and I understand it's your neighborhood. We all live here too. We appreciate this, but he does own the property. He is going to develop it, and he is trying to make a goodwill gesture. To see that he did have the house analyzed before this with close to $2 million for rehab. So, we have to equally be reasonable. We have to listen to him. He is a property owner here. I have to treat him the same as I treat everybody sitting here. But he's at least willing to have that discussion. So we need to let him meet with the historic preservation specialist, let them analyze the site, but please, I beg you, please stop going on the site. For your own safety, please don't go on the site. Just let me finish. Also in this process, there was a lot of discussion about we need some answers that we can give to the public, because again, this board has been absolutely attacked without mercy for something that's they've done the will of the people. They voted the ordinance down, and everyone is attacking it. These people do voluntarily part of their time. We all have to start to listen. We have to start, because if he's willing to put money into saving this building, and again, I'm making no promises. I cannot speak on his behalf until we investigate. We have to equally start to be good neighbors and realize he's putting out a big olive branch to try to appease the citizens of the community. But, speaking as honestly as I can say he has no intention of leaving the business. And that's the only thing I can tell you. What I did discuss is that he needs to come before the public very soon and show us what his plans are. And he did promise me that in the next couple of weeks, hopefully by the end of April, we would have a meeting. We will not have it here. We're trying to arrange for a larger location so that we can accommodate everybody that wants to come. And the public will be able to see the plans that you guys have for the property. Not to go into too much detail, but he does have another plan outside of the housing plan that will be a conditional use, which a conditional use is an approved use with conditions. So there's still a public hearing, but that would be for the board to be able to give input on traffic parameters, things that affect landscaping, but it is an approved use. So, you know, what I'm asking is please don't go on the property. That is trespassing. That is illegal. And I think that started a lot of the bad dialogue.
I think it started a good dialogue too. I'm sorry, I had to say that, but I think there was movement based on the fact that we raised our voices. I just had to say that.
And that's fine.
Okay,
But I don't want to encourage anybody to break the law.
Of course.
The thing I wanted to say, I've been attacking him, as you know. That's why I've been attacking him because he lied to Lloyd House and obviously, and he lied to you about something. Because when I was up there and saw, look, I don't walk into people's houses, but I went up with people marching the signs, and it was fenced off. But within that fence, they were ripping the guts out of the house. They removed the mantle, they removed all the windows, and workers were there without asbestos gear, ripping the house apart from the inside. It sounds to me like they didn't reveal that to you in the meeting yesterday.
But again, he doesn't have to. He has a demolition permit, and that's his problem.
I agree, but I know if I were you, I would be pretty ticked off if somebody who was negotiating, who was talking to me, wasn't showing me the respect to reveal everything. And that's all. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I don't trust this guy. He is somebody that we should all be taking a good hard look at, and I really hope it does come to a public hearing where we can all address it. That's all.
But again, legally,
I
you
understand.
know,
It was the same thing with my apartment complex in New York. I own my apartment now, not the developer. Things can be done. I'm not gonna give up on this one. But I wish he would tell you the truth. He would tell all of us the truth. This is not a good guy. That's all.
like, this is his property.
I understand that.
And he doesn't have to tell me anything if he doesn't
He
want to.
doesn't, but you know what I'm saying.
And
You
frankly-
should be. You should be angry that he's not telling you the truth. That's all. I hate saying should, because it's one of the things I hate when people say should. But I don't think really, if they weren't telling me everything, even when a state senator, got him to come before you, and in good faith say, hey, maybe I'll do something here, but he didn't reveal that he's already ripped the guts out of the house. And he's talking about asbestos being in there, which I'm sure there is. But he's had workers in there ripping it apart without asbestos gear on.
But again, that wasn't the subject of the conversation. The subject of the conversation was the community would like to preserve this house. That was the subject of the conversation.
And as an honest man, if that were presented to me, I would say, that's great, I'd love to do something about it. And you need to know I've already done it. Because I'm an honest man. That's all. And I appreciate everything you're doing. I really do.
But again, I
I
don't
know I am.
disparage anybody. I'm just gonna say, this is what occurred. We were trying to talk.
I
We're trying to
appreciate
do what's
that.
best by everybody. You know, we're all in a very difficult situation of trying to represent everybody's needs. But let's do what we can to let him do his due diligence, let him work with the preservation specialist. Let's see what we can do.
That's good.
Yes. So that is the more important part.
And we have like outside of the box idea to raise money to save that house. And he would have to, of course, talk to us as well. So it wouldn't cost him a dime with some of these ideas.
Again, let's get them to the press, let's get to step one. Let's just get there. But that's, you know, and again, I can make no promises. I don't want anybody leaving here saying, you say it in the house, I'm saying there's dialogue and there are people talking. That's all I can promise. And we will continue to keep dialogue open. But everybody needs to keep their minds open. Yep. Sure.
Do you, does the board know what he can do in that property and what he can do?
He has two separate plans, one being around housing, and there's another one that he does have, some uses that are available that he's still exploring.
And is he allowed to do that?
Yes, he absolutely is. That's an R2.
So when I hear about shops or something, this kind of thing.
He does have a plan like that, and that he would need to have relief from the board before the amending zoning. Which the
So
board
he's not allowed to do that.
he is not allowed to do that without amending the zoning. But as, and we've explained in past meetings, any property owner has the right to come to the board and ask them to consider the zoning of the property. You own a piece of property, anybody can walk in and say, I would like the board to consider this. Doesn't mean the board has to do it, which is the same as these gentlemen came tonight and said, we're thinking of buying this property, would you consider the zoning? Anybody has that right. That is the only thing that is happening with this property is you can go to the board and ask them to consider the zoning. And they do not.
He asked you to rezone, did he show you what he had planned, or he is actually, I want to rezone it, tell you.
No, he had a conceptual drawing. He had conceptual architectural work that these were the uses that he was looking for.
Finance Department, I'll entertain a motion to approve general manual check 41 and check 42971 through 43029. Motion made by Commissioner Chambers, seconded by Commissioner Young. Any comments, questions, or extensions on any of the checks? Okay. All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 5-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the February 28th, 2019 Board of Commissioners meeting. Motion made by Commissioner Chambers. We have a second. Second. Seconded by Commissioner Consento. Okay, any comments, questions, or corrections? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 5-0. Boards and commissions updates. Parks and Rec. Okay, municipal authority.
A long discussion about the pump station, I believe it.
Sarah. Fire service. Historical commission.
Last month's meeting was canceled due to bad weather. Our next meeting will be held Thursday next week. That's the third Thursday of the month at 7:30 p.m. in this building. Wednesday. I'm sorry. Wednesday, the third Wednesday.
20th, right? March 20th.
March 20th.
And highway commission. Okay. All right, any items for additional business? Okay. Oh, that's right. We need to cancel our March 28th meeting, so we need a motion for that, or you're,
Still in the public eye.
okay. So we move on to public comments. And again, a reminder for public comment, please stand, state your name and address for the record, and then give your comment on David Spalding.
Hi, David Spalding, Spaulding, 406 Lloyd Avenue, Downingtown, 19335. So, Lloyd Farm, obviously foremost on people's minds. Just clear record here. Repeatedly we said in previous meetings that we entirely understand and accept that this property is going to be developed. We are not here to stop it from being developed. And frankly, just personally, I really don't like being told multiple times that we shouldn't break the law and enter property for a long diatribe that makes me feel like I'm 6. Okay. Quick pass saying, by the way, it's posted. And we're good. Okay? With regards to the demolition permit, I admit to being a little bit confused here. In the Inquirer article, we learned that there was a time limit on the demolition permit, which kind of threw me off because in the last meeting that question was expressly asked by a citizen, and we were told demolition permits don't have a timetable, right? That once you have them and they're properly executed, you can execute that at any time. So that throws me off because on the one hand we have an interview with a newspaper in which that exact same question is asked and a totally different answer is given. So the first question that I have for the board is there a timetable on the demolition permit or not? Like, which of those two is correct?
This board doesn't issue demolition permits that are set at staff level, so I would defer to the staff.
Yeah, I wasn't here at the last meeting, and I believe it's a building, it's under the building code, and I believe it's the same as the building permit, and I would want to check with Ray, but I believe it's 6 months.
Okay.
But as long as they're continuing to work, then they can, it's not like as long as they start within that 6 months and they're continuing to diligently pursue the demolition, it's not like everything has to be completed within that 6 month time frame.
Understood.
Just like if you get a building permit, you have to start it within 6 months, and then as long as you're continuing to build, that permit remains valid. There's also an opportunity to get an extension, and that, as she said, is not done through the Board of Commissioners, it's done through the building code official.
Understood. Well, thank you for the clarification.
Sure.
That helps me reconcile those two. That's very helpful. Second question, and this probably also is not the board, so my apologies, but you represent us, so I have to sort of speak to you. Is this the first building permit? The last time we were here, and I think one time before this question came up, was there a prior building permit application, or was this the first building permit application? And it looks like there was one back in July of 18 that didn't go well, and that the board had, or the staff had asked for further information, and then a new application was made. Is that accurate?
I think what happened was, I think he applied for the demolition permit. Mr. Stackhouse didn't have sufficient information based on the building code requirements of what he needs to be able to issue that permit. And so he sent an email back to the applicant and said, in order for me to deem your application complete and to be able to process it, I need the following information. The applicant then resubmitted with that additional supplemental information, which then allowed Mr. Stackhouse to issue the permit.
I understand. All right, so so we had an application period, a back and forth, and issuance, and that's the permit that's going forward. And as long as he's moving forward on that demolition, it remains in force so they can get done what began if that's appropriate.
Yes.
Understood. Okay. Let me just make sure that was. Yes, that's it. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
It's Leisha, and my questions were answered, so I'm gonna let Mr. Evans here have my time.
Mister. Mark Evans, 103 Airwood Drive, Caln Township. Thank you for information to share, because that's all we ask for, information to share. It's helpful. And I'm glad I was taking a bunch of notes during the self-storage presentation, because I was going to talk about Lloyd House, but now I'm thinking else. So, Mr. Young, you teed it up. Thank you so much. You hit it right on the nose. We were drawn to this area. There was a lot that was, the builder had a lot. And when we came to see that lot, we went by the corner of Manor and Lloyd, and there were corn stalks. And after we saw the lot, we went over that little bridge and we went through down it. And we went, what a cute little town. Look at this, what are you doing here? I thought we were in downtown, and I thought we were in town. And town doesn't seem to have the same kind of plan downtown does. I've gotten to know some of the people involved with, you know, like the leadership in other municipalities. They don't talk well about the way we are run. You're right. Why are we talking about self-storage units on empty land? Why are we thinking about small things that don't help everyone, that don't make it somewhere that people, that make me want to leave my house and go spend my money in Caln? Do we have a plan? Have we sat down and said, thought about what we wanted to look like, what we wanted to feel like, what we wanted to taste like in restaurants, what we wanted to smell like? Or are we just, now someone comes in with an idea to put in a storage unit here, okay, we do it.
We have a Lincoln Highway group.
I love this because I just saw this for the first time. I'm like,
That group has spent almost 10 years meeting. We wrote the zoning. Kristen can't get involved in that. We spent what?
Long
Almost 3
time,
years
yeah.
working on that.
To encourage and to try to, the properties along Lincoln Highway are tough. There's the railroad on one side, the properties don't meet any area and bulk requirements. It's virtually impossible to develop them unless we take the ordinance to meet it. And on the other side, there's a lot of floodplain. So the property that this gentleman has, they had an apartment building planned and almost approved, or at least zoned for it, and got it pretty far along. The floodplain makes it very, very difficult to do anything on the site.
And the other problem we have is that these companies, these big companies, open up the book and they look at the zip code. And they look at the financial data for that zip code. They open it up beyond Brian Hoskins, and it's 19320. As soon as they open that up and they do the demographic data, it comes up with code for demographic base. And they close the book and they walk away. And that's exactly what happens every time that you get something that's exciting or something that can change the face of that area. They open the book, they look at the demographic data, they close it back up, and they walk away.
let's find a way to stop them from walking away. We live in 19335 and we pay taxes through the nose to Cookville. I mean, our taxes are ridiculous.
And that's what part of our goal was, is every building built on Lincoln Highway is more tax revenue for the school district and no children. So the better we can be, you know, developing Lincoln Highway, the better off we all are because our tax rates will level off. They'll never go down. They'll level off.
Thank you, Ms. Camp and Mr. Young. I'd like to learn more about the Lincoln Highway Commission and just close with, before you let somebody build a self-storage unit there, you know, once you go down that road, you're the Brooklyn waterfront. I mean, it is. Once you start becoming the Brooklyn waterfront, it's going to be 100 years or never before you turn it into something beautiful and viable. So, thank you for your time.
Rick Urban.
Hi, Rick Irving, 54 calls in mine. My one question was kind of answered previously, but I had a couple other items. One of them, the property that is at Edge's Mill and 222, apparently there was supposed to be some big development to go in there. Whatever happened with that property? It's not, apparently not for sale right now.
Do you mean Antonini, the self-storage?
No,
Oh,
it's up on the hill.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's like a bed and breakfast there now, it is up for sale, and one of the traffic studies, it mentioned that was supposed to be built out in 2019. Obviously, there's nothing going on over there, but it was 200 homes.
Well, now. So they had, they came in and got a zoning amendment to do a planned residential development. I don't remember how many units it was, but they have not moved forward with that approval. And in fact, Brian and I were just talking that their time frame is set to expire on their plans, and we need to basically ask them what their intentions are. So they continue to ask for extensions from the board, and we, you know, as staff have had a conversation to say, you know, we really need to sort of understand what their long-range plan is, and be able to tell the board about that. So we don't know right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have to ponder that seriously, considering what could go in there and what could go in 200 yards down the street with that little intersection, Lloyd and all that area.
Well, yeah, and so they didn't go through land development yet, and
Right.
part of why they're probably not going forward is the significant improvements that they would have to make to both the roads as well as the sewer. So I'm sure that's a very sizable project, and it just put it on hold.
Okay, so I just want people to kind of keep that in the back of their minds. I don't know how many people knew about that. And just one other, this is just a comment, but I think in one of the previous meetings, there was some discussion that there wouldn't be any people milling around, you know, the Royal Farms and crossing from the school. There would be no pedestrian crossing. Well, today, on my way off the bypass, I came up to the Lloyd light, and it turned red, and here comes a young man with his 2 or 3 year old son crossing across 322, pushing him in a little wheelbarrow across the street. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. We went down Lloyd and into the parking lot. So just so you know, that when they come here and they say, oh, nobody's gonna be walking there because it says no pedestrians, trust me, that's gonna happen. And that was just like 2 deaths waiting to happen. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Chuck Craner.
Chuck Member, 2704 East Kings Highway. Hi, how's it going? So I'm actually speaking to you on my role as secretary of the Civil Service Board. We had a meeting tonight beforehand, and just as an update, the offers that we sent out to the 2 police officers were accepted as of this morning for the deputy chief. So they'll be starting April 1st. We've also approved the next number of folks on the list. Rich, and we have our understanding there's one slot that is still open, and the question came up in discussion in there. We have the folks ready for that, just to give you a heads up, and we're wondering, do we need to move forward on getting the next set of lists ready for that, or where, in essence, where you stand on filling the final of the last position that's open right now, or is that still on hold?
I think the chief needs to discuss that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. But just, we're ready to go. The list is updated, and we've got the next 3 names that would be submitted for that. So, thank you. Any questions for us? All right. Thank you.
Okay, Lauren Perry.
Yeah, somebody left. She signed out. She might have
Okay.
her. Yeah.
Federico Del Moral.
That's me, I don't have any comments.
Oh, okay. Alright, thank you. Okay, any other public comment? Okay. Well.
Noel Bernard, 1508 Caln Twp House Lane. A couple of thoughts. Is it even still instead of outside? What was it? Pedestrian?
Yeah.
In here,
I was asking about pedestrian, a sign, and you said there was a pedestrian sign. And people were still walking, right? They were doing what they shouldn't be doing. I guess that's just confirming speed limits, because nobody, you know, is doing the speed limit. And I guess it goes back to this trespassing. People are still trespassing. So I can understand why they need to protect themselves and not necessarily making anyone feel like a 6-year-old, you know, by no means. But the last thing I think anybody wants is that somebody does get hurt, and then the cops are called, and, you know, all of those things. So I'm not here to be a, you know, be smart about that. I'm just saying that that is just confirming that we could put signs everywhere, don't do this, don't do that. People do it. You know, I know I'm on record, but I mean, I probably even, you know, speed from time to time. I know. So that's that. And I think Mr. Evans, is that,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear about you. I'm actually happy to hear you saying something about Lincoln Highway because, you know, I am on that board. We do welcome people. We want people, you know, we get asked things all the time. So I love it. It is a bit overwhelming, I will say. And then with the storage that they're talking about, this is the first I'm hearing about it. This is actually something that I'm liking. This is the first I'm hearing about it, but if I'm understanding it correctly, and Josh, maybe I'm wrong here, it is the truth. There have been so many different things coming for that part, that piece, that parcel, and it just doesn't work. And so this, as long as it's like that sophisticated road, I do think that that's going to help with that, you know, section of our township. We have really been trying desperately for that section. So anything that we can do to turn that around is going to help as well. I know that everybody cares about your side too. They do. And, you know, I'm glad to see things are starting to come together a little bit with the conversations. Sometimes things have to go in a negative way before, you know, it gets better. Like just hearing about that you're having more conversations. And I think that was, you know, the intent that you all had. So it is working, and I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one, but I love this township. I just want to see. I think maybe, you know.
She wants to understand the Lincoln Highway board.
So the Lincoln Highway is just a group of people that meet business leaders and other people invested in the outcome of Lincoln Highway. So what we did is we kept facing all these where somebody would come in and we'd say, we can't do that, we can't do that, we can't do that. We finally got fed up and said, let's try to come up with an outcome where we can say, you can do that. So what we did is, especially along the railroad tracks, as Kristen mentioned earlier, you need 10 yards, or 10 feet in the back, 10 feet in front, 10 feet on either side. Well, you can build, you know, a postage stamp, and that's it. So what we did is we allowed this board more flexibility to allow them to go to 0 lot lines, where they can build right on the edges of all the way around. They can share parking with another facility. Or you had 2 businesses on either side, they could buy the middle lot and put parking in the middle for both. So, and then what it did was allow them to come to this board and not have to come to this board and the zoning hearing board and spend additional money to get a variance because they couldn't meet the requirements that we put out. What we've done, we did LERTA, which the school district pulled out of. It was a tax incentive program that abated taxes over 10 years on the improved facilities. So if you had $1 million building and you added another $1 million to it, the taxes would go up by $100,000 each year over that 10-year period. The school district pulled out of that without talking to us. Some of the buildings that you've seen go up along Lincoln Highway were built because of the tax incentive program, especially the sign place. I'm forgetting, Denne Run Signs. Denne Run Signs basically tore down the old Amish market and built a really nice place in its stead. So we've worked on projects like that, as well as you see the now Thorndale sign at the new Wawa, trying to brand ourselves as not Coatesville.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
we're trying to make ourselves not Coatesville and make ourselves Thorndale or Caln Township. So you know where, and one of the things that we always say is, you know where Coatesville begins and ends, you know where downtown begins and ends, you don't know what's in the middle. So what we tried to do is try to brand ourselves as Caln Twp at Dorndale, so that you know you're in Dorndale, and that's why I've been so insistent on the brick look, because we're trying to have one look all the way along the drive. So that's what we've worked on over the past almost 10 years.
And I just wanted to say one other thing, like, for example, like US Supply. We all know where US Supply is. I mean, how long have we been looking at that? You know, everything is so tight with all the things that, you know, the restrictions. And then, you know, they're Nokia, you know, next to the Griffin car wash, there's all that. So I mean, if you haven't, go to that end of the town too, and, you know, I'd love to see all of your passion for something that you can bring there too. It really, I mean.
You will. You definitely will.
Good, good. That's all, thank you so much.
I'd like to have one comment on what you're about to, like, so,
I'm not, can I take people
Joseph Capella, 10 Joseph Court, Downtown. Traffic light at Lloyd and Manor and Royal Farm. Coming out of Royal Farm, you have a green light out of Lloyd and Royal Farm. You're going to make a right from Lloyd onto Manor, and people are making a left out of Royal Farm onto Manor. That's a bad situation right there, where people are flying out of that gas station there, and when you're making your right, there's a tendency of possibly an accident there sooner or later. Is it possible to get that light changed where Royal Farms has their own traffic light, and Manor, Lloyd would have their own traffic light? When somebody's sitting on Lloyd, when it pulls up there, they get to go first before the gas station goes, because somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah, so we're actually having a traffic engineer do a study on that as we speak.
Okay. Now, and then there's also a construction sign right on the corner there that's been leaning over for months now, and that's going to fall on the farm. Yeah, yeah. That's all.
thank you.
What I wanted to talk about is that I have a complaint that everyone didn't want to do. It's very clear that you're here, you're listening to all the various things that you're trying to do, like along behind me, which does actually interest me, and I hope you get all the interest in seeing the 42 places that are vacant for a month. But it seems to me that what I don't understand, and I'd like some kind of clarification from you, is why, even if we come to terms with no, and let's assume we will, let's say the best that can happen is we're all happy, walk away from it. That doesn't change the fact that there is an historic district in this country that isn't reflective of the historical buildings in this country. And when you did your comprehensive plan, and I'll quote from it, page 33 says, consider using the zoning ordinance to require pre-approval of the proposed demolition of an important historic building. It isn't fitting in the district that fits it as being important. What I don't understand is, just like you've got along the highway, why aren't we taking the comprehensive plan, which someone asked about what you want the country to look like, but we spent 2 or 3 years doing that. What is the stumbling block? What is preventing everybody from putting that into zoning? Why not? I mean, clearly you're not, so if you're not, there's some reason.
I would say, other than it just takes a long time to implement everything the comprehensive plan calls for, and I think, Ms. Denne, are they not going to be embarking upon potentially rewriting the zoning ordinance at some point? So, I mean, the comprehensive plan is a 30,000-foot level review and look, and then as time permits, as budgets permit, and as priorities permit, some of it gets implemented. So
I'm not
it,
talking about implementing little bits of it, I'm talking about taking a comprehensive plan and instituting a rezoning for the entire county, so that an answer to that question, it looks like what we want it to look like, that's the answer to that. So if you're going to institute a township-wide rezoning, when, and if not, why?
First off, it is in the budget for this year to do that.
Okay, when does it start?
We will be starting before the end of this year, but it will be done, it usually takes about 2 years to do that process. But we did put it in the budget for this year. Usually what happens is we do a comprehensive plan every 10 years, the zoning gets changed every 5. So in response to the comprehensive plan we completed, again, it's a $50,000 price tag. So we had to get that money, you know, put aside for that, so that we could process it.
Do you have any name?
Yes, we did. That's what I'm
Why
saying.
not start?
Because we're currently right now doing RFP for it, and then we're looking at zoning. We also need to have the planning commission, we have to do all the plans, and have planning commission, zoning commission do it before we start the process.
Oh, members,
Yes.
okay, and you've had some, that it's applied to be on a time.
I'm not sure.
I did it. Okay, my only other question is, who is the historic, I call them an historic, expert who's gonna review the Lloyd House, could you tell us who that is?
I don't know at this point, I have reached out to some colleagues at the county that have suggested some people that work with it.
So you don't have one?
No.
All right, I'm gonna suggest strongly to you that you talk to Milner. Milner is, in Westchester, Milner is a world-renowned restoration.
The people who, at the county, they are the work to do this for the county, they will work with developers to choose it.
So it's gonna be a planning commission person that does it?
No, they're gonna work with the developers to choose the next one.
Okay, now I'm understanding. The planning commission's gonna help the developer decide who you want to have, okay?
He is working with someone who works at the county, who is going to make suggestions of people who can use to do the restoration.
Okay. Is that person in the planning?
Not the person that's gonna do the restoration.
No, I'm not asking you to do anything. If he's working with someone in the county, this is working with someone in the county planning.
Yes.
So I should be able to call them and find out who's working. And I'm all, oh, yeah, that's fine. That was okay. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Mr. Wright, you have a comment?
Yeah, I'm Joe Wright, 400 Lloyd Avenue. Mark had mentioned that when he came out here, one of the things he did was go over the Lloyd Bridge, and I know I've talked to a couple of commissioners on the board about a year or two ago, that I was advocating a traffic light at that particular bridge, similar to Viaduct Avenue in Downingtown. I noticed that the PennDOT study, traffic study, mentioned that they recommend putting a light there, and they recommend that the township do it. Now, all I'm asking is basically, has there been any movement toward that, or have you given it any additional thought?
At the last meeting, I announced we're working with our traffic engineer, we're going to get temporary lights and try it first before we would spend a lot of money to install lights. Let the neighborhood experience that and decide if that's what you want. Because you might find out that the cars might back up more than you initially anticipated. So we were gonna get temporary lights and do it on a trial basis before we start.
Traffic light runs $120,000 to $160,000.
Well, that's not the point. The point is that it needs to be regulated. And it's
Don't
like
disagree,
anything,
that's why.
Josh,
That's what we're trying to do.
give me a second to finish. The point is, we can find money to do other things. We can find the money to do this too. It's a matter of priority. Now, the only question I have would be, how is this gonna be temporary and what?
We're going to try it on a trial basis to see how it works out. We could put it in and the whole neighborhood could take it.
Yeah, but
We don't wanna spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for something to go off in a try it first and see if that's really what the community wants. So we're gonna try it, we're gonna leave it up on a trial basis, let the traffic engineer evaluate it before we would go ahead and put in to spend that kind of money.
Okay, my question would be, in a temporary position, I'd like to find out more about it, because if you're gonna do a traffic light, it's gotta be similar to, let's say, Viaduct Avenue, and not something that's on basically a timer.
This is gonna be done through a traffic engineer that is going to do it with PennDOT and National Transportation Safety.
Okay, and
This isn't gonna be me standing there
And our-
going, red, green, it's
our
just.
township engineer is actually doing it.
No, it's Lois. You know, this is
Okay,
going
but
to be
you're-
done
you're
through.
doing it in
The
conjunction
traffic
with it.
engineer is working on, so currently, to do a traffic light, you have to do traffic counts to determine timing. That is currently being worked on. The traffic, if you ever went up Route 322 over the last 2 years, and did some bridges up in the Honeypot, there was a temporary traffic light that's mounted on a trailer. It has an arm that comes out over the road with a traffic light hanging from it. That's what we're looking to rent and put out there. There's a time to be one on each side of the bridge. So at $160,000 a piece, you're talking a lot of money to put involved to put two lights there if it's going to be a permanent fixture. We're going to time it out. The lights are timed based upon traffic counts, PennDOT standards, and national standards. The traffic engineer is currently working on that. He was authorized last week to start that. That takes, there's time involved in that process. And then there's a plan drawn up of where the traffic lights are going to be located, and then also a signal plan that PennDOT has to approve, the signal, timing of that signal for how long it's green, how long it's yellow, how long it's red each way, how they're tripped, if it's a loop, if it's a camera, if it's just a straight timer, different timings during the day, all that is done through studies that have to be done based upon the traffic counts that cross that bridge. So that's
Okay.
all in process.
All right, that's good, but I can tell you that you're a step forward just having PennDOT recommend the light, so you're not starting from scratch, basically. So you don't have to worry about too much of that as far as, PennDOT side. I think is going to be in favor of it, but you're right. Okay, we'll go with the.
Yes, so we're gonna look at renting the temporary trailer lights that are used at construction sites to start and see how it works, and also test. Then from there, we can tweak what we need to do with the timing, the signaling, the location of the light, for making sure it's seen properly, for making sure the stop. There's all kinds of variables involved. It's not just throw up a light that goes red and green every 30 seconds.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
I'm just saying, as long as we started that thing.
Yes, that process started with the township traffic engineer.
All right, thanks.
Is there anybody else that had any further comment that hasn't spoken before?
I just wanted to follow up, did Clipsville Area School District give a reason why they backed out of that? That's new information, I had never heard that before.
Yeah, they said they couldn't afford it. Even though it didn't cost them any money on today's current assessed value.
Thank you very much. No idea.
We are at the line, at the end of the Pennsylvania American water line. And when it comes down to us and the airway, that's the end of the line, so it doesn't leak. I just want to make you aware of this because it hasn't actually gone anywhere yet. I turn on my tap and black stuff comes out. So I talked to Pennsylvania American Water, we knew we were at the end of this thing, and they have a problem with that, because when you talk to them, they have a problem getting chlorine all the way to the bottom, the last houses on the line. The last time they came and tested the water, and they're testing it supposedly at the Lloyd Avenue Park, but they're not testing it for bacteria, they're testing it for everything but bacteria. It's black stuff, it's not metal. And according to them, and here's my question, according to them, they're in the process of negotiating with you or private owners to loop the line, by carrying, I'm assuming, the top of Fairwood over somehow to the golfer on the other side so that creates the loop and gets rid of the problem. Do you know anything about that?
I can tell you that I'm meeting with them on other roads that they're gonna be working on this summer, and I can bring that up to them. And they could be privately you know, no, I mean, maybe it's on some right away to town. Right now, that's connecting up to Morgan and Park Drive. Yeah, well, it's this development back here by, the Thorndale. It's across behind there, on the other side of Lawrenceville Road. So kind of, behind Turkey Hill. So, I mean, they could, because, you know, PA American Water, you know, we work very well with them, but sometimes they call and go, we have extra money, we're working on this area, and they come in and see us and do, so they very well could be, and might not come until Tuesday.
Well, would you ask when you find out there's, it's okay at the moment?
Oh, yeah, and again, like I said, there's times that they say, I've talked to them and they go, yep, we're not doing anything this summer, and then 2 weeks later they come in and say, we're doing 4 roads. So it could have changed between, but we have a meeting with them on Tuesday regarding several questions.
Yes, I wanted to comment on the wells, and Joe, your comments on Bloomberg. So when I was on board the first time, we brought that in place, and a lot of work with the Lincoln Highway Commission to bring that in, and we were out actively marketing to address exactly what you're talking about, Mark. So to do that, to bring, Caln is one of our things, Caln was open for business, and we were doing that. That is a huge incentive. I strongly recommend, if you know any of the members of the board, you know any of the folks that I'm talking about the school board, bring this up to them, because that was a huge carrot for business to do that. And we found out after the fact, you know, kind of that they pulled out and did it, and that just killed the plan. Yes, it was a board, no, it was a school board resolution that they adopted, and then they rescinded from because they said that they couldn't afford it. But you know, you're bringing business in that do not have students, as was said, so it's pure revenue for the school district, in essence, you know, for that. So if you know any of the school board members, I recommend, you know, having a passionate discussion with them about this, because that's what's going to fix what we've got going on the west end of town, hopefully build that up. So.
And in fact, they just opened up to allow to have a vote with the school district that won't do it. Never told us, we found out when somebody came in and applied for Loretta, and when I went to process the paperwork in the county, they said, oh, Chris was no longer doing Loretta. Never told us.
So nobody from the board, Dr. Pashner, nobody contacted anybody at the council to even let them know that.
I went up I met up with the Studies, was still on the board, and I immediately went up to the cabinet.
Did Stu know?
He goes, yeah, well, there's no, we told you. And I'm like, oh, no, you didn't.
I don't know, I work in the district, that's the only reason.
Anything you can do, believe me,
Oh, I'll spread the word on that,
Yes.
that's upsetting.
because it's really bad. Denne on signs got caught in the midst of that. They came here instead of going to Chester Springs because of the Loretta. So when we're talking about people attracting new businesses, specifically, they came here because of the Loretta, because their occupancy wasn't done. The way that it works is your Loretta does not go into effect until your occupancy is done. Because think about it, somebody can come in and vacate or start a building and say, and they can be doing construction for years, but give the tax benefits. We want people to finish the building, and then that's when the tax benefits starts. So we have represented, and we are giving them the Loretta, the school district is not, and they specifically have that in their business plan to come here instead of Chester Springs because of the Loretta. That's really upsetting. I have apologized, cried, and like I feel horrible for what happened.
And this might sound very weird, and I apologize, but I was at a meeting, I remember watching Dr. Pashner this year, and was extremely upset because, I don't think Jen, you were president, I think it was prior to you coming here, and what was thank you, Cynthia was adamant, being like, you absolutely did not inform us of something, because she said she had called the secretary several times, nobody ever called her back, and she was sitting there arguing the fact that I can't remember what that was. Is that the same thing? Is it something different? No. Okay. That was the only meeting I've ever seen her at, so it was just odd. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other public comment?
I wanted to hop on this first.
I just have a quick question on Route 30, that gas station, it was at USA gas station. It's still in shambles. What's going on with that?
And it's funny, I drove past it the other day, and I apologize. I will have it, Ray's not here this evening, but he'll be at the next
mean, that's ridiculous, the pumps are still askew and everything?
Yeah, Ray will be at the next meeting, I don't have an answer.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Look, I spent my life in my careers, you know, in careers where they tell you you can't do that. No one can do that. You can't do it. Well, you know, I was lucky and I worked hard and I did all the things I was supposed to do. When I was in the West Village in New York in the early 90s, it was north end of Hudson Street, the west end of Bleecker Street. It was all empty storefronts, just empty. Which created, if you're walking down the street at night, crime. Because it's dark, there's no business, it's dangerous. And just what you're talking about with Lerda, that's what they did. Around 94, I'd say, the money started coming in. Tax breaks, and it was agreed that all of the property owners that had empty spaces were going to offer 5-year, you know, cap, or your rent's not going to go up. For 10 years, it's not going to go up. Does anyone, you all know Magnolia Bakery, the cupcakes, right? That's when they started. They started at the corner of Bleecker and 11 at that time. They were the second one in. And go walk there now. You know, let's get together. Let's go after Cokesville schools. I need a, we're almost done with Miller. So
Mission accomplished, on to the next.
Yes. And the only thing I want to say, you know, I try not to bring in my own personal needs, but look, I live on Airwood, and that intersection there right now needs a don't block the box, and it needs to be enforced because someone's going to get killed there. During rush hour, the traffic's Airwood's completely blocked, and it's just before the bridge. And if I manage to get out, you know, force my way between a couple of cars, I can't see the guy that's flying over the bridge. And I've had a number of close calls like that. But if you put in a block the box, you enforce it, don't block the box, you enforce it, you're going to make some money, because that should be $100, $200 ticket. And you'll get a lot of them. And, you know, it'll start to make people realize this is dangerous here. I think there's don't block the box at the other end.
What does that mean?
It means that if there's an intersection,
Oh, okay.
you can't block, you can't go across it. To let people have a chance to get out. And there's one at, yes. Thank you.
I had a question for Ms. Denne.
Yeah.
You stated that the builder at Lloyd Miller had an evaluation done on the house of about $2 million to restore it. You know when that was done? What, that was pre the salvage a few weeks ago, or?
I honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
We didn't get into, this was initial discussion.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Okay, I want to introduce Bill Scholl from Representative Denne.
Hi, I just wanted to speak to everybody real quick. You may have noticed there's a new office across the street on Lincoln Highway. That's State Representative Dan Williams' office. Many of you know Dan was elected back in November. This is the seat that Harry Lewis held for years. I just really want to let everybody know that we're here and we want to help, not just with the township stuff, but individuals. There are a lot of things we can do to help make things go smoother with the state. There's these flyers. I have a few. There's some out here. I got plenty more in the car if anybody wants them. So really just want to let everybody know we're there. Come see us. We're anxious to help. I can promise you that my boss, the representative, is ready to help everybody in the world. And that's why I work for him. Ricky Campbell, who's here with me tonight. And we have another gentleman who works in the office, Hans Von Mole. We're not there to get rich. We all enjoy helping people. We're trying to do what we can. So come see it, okay? Anything related to the state. If I can, real quick, because I listen to a lot of this, and I've been around local politics a little bit myself. So let me step out of that role. I'm not talking for my boss right now, okay? I hope things go well with the Lloyd Farm property. We're hoping to meet with the developer soon. It seems like everybody's ready to be reasonable, probably a good idea. He owns the land, as Kristen keeps saying. So let's try to find a happy medium, maybe. The other thing with the Coastal Area School District, and again, I got to step way out of my statement. I just want to remind everybody, this is an election year for the Coatesville Area School District school directors. Okay? So, the municipality can't tell them what to do. Right? State rep can't tell them what to do. But you can tell them what to do with your vote. And that doesn't just include the ones that are up this year. You start shocking them, the other ones will start to do. And again, that is not as my role as working. That's just as a visitor. Yeah.
Quick question for you. Did you say your name was Bill or?
Yeah, Bill Shaw.
Okay, I emailed you on February 20th. I never got a response yet.
I apologize
I'll
for
resend
that.
it out to you, see if we can work something out.
Yeah, and so I'll be honest with you. I think I may have replied to you on the campaign Facebook page. And look, I mean,
yeah, I remember.
You guys, you're talking about dealing with a lot of different organizations, okay? And I don't want to put blame on them, but like dealing with Harrisburg as your corporate headquarters comes with a lot of pitfalls. So like we kind of had email and then didn't, and then so a lot of things, and it's around that time.
Okay.
We got all set up on February 23rd, I want to say, Rick, is when our systems got set up.
Okay.
And like it was receiving things, we weren't getting, and I'm sorry, I apologize. You know, I'm not putting it off on that.
Yeah, I meant to call too, and I never got a chance to call you.
That's fine. Oh yeah, let me tell you everybody real quick. If you want to write it down, the number is 484-200-8256. That's all over this thing. Also, let me give you my email. Again, my name is Bill Shell. I am Dan's Chief of Staff. My email at the office is wschoell@pahouse.net. So, anything at all, whether it's related to the township, Coastal Area School District, need a new driver's license, is an issue, whatever. Hit us up, we'll be glad to help. Thanks a lot.
All those in favor? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you. I'm sorry,
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, my name is